How you doing, everyone? Welcome back to the channel once again. We are less than 12 hours away from Etheria Restart now, and I'm hyped. I am hyped. Boys, I'm hyped. And I'm guessing we are too. Basically, what I wanted to do today was take us through my plan and what I think is the best plan, particularly for free-to-play, coming straight into the game on day one and potentially leading into day 2, 3, etc. I've broken it down into the gear farms, followed by my ideal pulls from SSRs and SRs. Now, to be completely honest with you, the amount of pulls the game gives you, I don't think you're going to have any issue getting any of the SRs that you need. It might take you a day or two, hence why I said, this could be a potential day 2, day 3 hindsight. But I do believe you'll be able to get all these characters with general ease, and that's why I've included them in the plan. So when you first get into the game, other than clearing, campaign and some other general daily missions that they're going to provide for you, one of the first big hurdles you're going to come across is Terramaton. He is the first of the 3 module farms, and he is a green type. If you see my other video, you see my breakdown of why I think it will be easy to clear all these as long as you follow a good strategy and use the right SR units. But the long and short of it is I'll be building these 5 units you can see at the top here to clear Terramaton. The first unit you can see is Dina. Dina is integral to my strategy for Terramaton as well as Aurora. She's a red type, so she works in both those bosses, and she gives a massive defense down as well as other supports to her team. She's just a really strong SR unit. After that, we see Liane. Liane's given to you for free, so she's the ideal DPS for this. She is a red type, and she does crazy damage. There's also missions that actually promote you building Liane, and if you want to, you can reset her, but definitely build her so you can get those extra rewards from building her. Then we have Marvel. Marvel's a universal support. You'll see when I explain the other bosses how he drips down into each of them. But basically, he pushes the enemy back, he gives them speed down, he gives them resistance down. He's just a crazy support. And he's a light and dark unit, so he has no weakness to any of the bosses. Next up, you can see Valerian. Valerian, in my opinion, is the best free-to-play healer for at least the first 7 days. After 7 days, we will be getting Ling Luo, who you can see is the first unit under the free category. She is hands down the best healer in the game, in my opinion, let alone the best free-to-play healer. But when you kick things off, Valerian is a great SR, light and dark unit, so again, no weakness to the bosses as a healer for your team. The last unit we have for Terramaton is Mizuki. She is a green type unit, so she's neutral. She has 2 different dispels on her ultimate and her skill 1, and this is ideal for Terramaton because he really ramps up with the buffs that he has on himself. But yeah, for me, these are my first 5 units I'll be looking to build because I know they'll clear me through Terramaton really fast, and you'll see how a bunch of them actually drip down into Doki Doki and Aurora too. Speaking of which, moving down into Doki Doki, the first unit you can see I have in there is Kazuyo. She is technically another free unit, but I put her in Doki Doki so that you can understand the importance of her to Doki Doki. The long and short of it is she puts Slumber onto your opponents. Slumber is a control effect which you need for the Doki Doki boss fight as it removes those buffs once again from the enemy units. Aside from Kazuyo, Kraken is a great secondary unit, either on the same team or to replace her to provide that crowd control in the Doki Doki boss fight. He is blue type, so he is neutral, so he doesn't quite have the advantage that Kazuyo has, but that's fine. You mainly just want to avoid having a disadvantage. After this is where you see the drip down from the previous Terramaton builds, so we can move Marvel down into this team, as well as Valerian as a healer, and that only leaves you with 1 more unit, preferably a DPS, to fill out the 5 slots in the Doki Doki boss fight. We're going to scroll down a bit now. You might see some spoilers ahead for some of the other categories, but let's focus on Aurora next. So the first 2 units you can see I put in Aurora are Viper as well as Obel. The key thing about these 2 units is they have Dispel on them. Dispel is key to the Aurora boss fight alongside Cleanse, which once again you will be able to get from Ling Luo, the free healer you get after 7 days, but once again you will have to wait those 7 days to get her. So before that, what are we going to do? Well, once again you're going to see Dina come down into the Aurora team, so once again another unit you've already built for a healer / support. You're going to see Valerian come down, and then surprise, Marvel's going to come down too. Marvel is probably one of the most broken units in the game, so don't be surprised if you see him popping up in every piece of content everywhere. I will say with these 5 units, you technically don't have a designated DPS. Obel can output some really good damage, but he's more so just there as a secondary option to Viper, in my opinion. If you don't manage to pick up a good blue DPS, thankfully they've already provided you a great red DPS in Liane. So she can come down and provide that damage. But that's that in terms of the core units I think you'll need to build, what I'll definitely be looking to build. They're all SR or free, so anything more than this is the icing on the cake. I will quickly note on some of the other free units you do get. Of course, I mentioned Ling Luo, my opinion, best healer in the game. She provides cleanses, as well as heal over time. She is cater-made for Aurora, but great in Doki Doki 2, as well as PvP. After that, you have Dorothy. I wouldn't really recommend building Dorothy. If you don't build any other healer, she can do the job, but there are so many better options. And then of course we have Gray. Gray is actually a great unit. I'd class him as a support sub-DPS. He can output great damage, but his main role is to increase the crit rate for the other characters on your team, as well as decreasing the defense of your opponents. But as we all know, crit scales massively, so being able to give crit rate so they can build crit damage is good stuff. Now we get into the part that you all came for. The reason we all play these games. The gacha. So scrolling down, I broke this into 4 different categories. I pray, I'll take it, pivot, and not what I plan for. I'm sure you've heard a million people talk about this already, but I'm praying that I get Heinrich, Lily, Mio, Messiah. These are light and dark units. And if we're not talking light and dark, Rosa is the one RGB unit that I would kill for. In a video game, of course. Let me explain why. Heinrich, alongside providing a bunch of other support that I can't be bothered to get into the details of, is the best dispeller in the game. You can put him into any content and he will provide incredible support. In that same vein, Lily is probably the unit that provides the best support to your team out of anyone in the game. Her follow-up attacks, her crit buffs, her action advances, they're insane. So I'd be very happy to get her. And then lastly, we have the new unit that was announced, Mio. She's kind of a combination of Marvel and Kraken. I'm sure you've heard that before, but she can freeze as well as push people back. Her crowd control basically is just nuts broken. She's going to make content really easy for you again. All 3 of those units are light and dark, so they have no weakness to any of the module battles. I think the support archetype is extremely powerful in this game, so that's why they are my top 3 units I would like to get. But then we do actually start to lead into 2 DPS characters that I would love to get. First up, we have Rosa. This is because not only do I love her design, she is arguably the best damage dealer in Aurora, as well as a great option in Doki Doki. She not only does crazy damage numbers, but she provides crazy support to the team too, with speed up and crit up and damage. Lots of damage. And digging into that a little bit deeper, Aurora and Doki Doki are the 2 main boss fights that you will be farming a lot more frequently than Terramaton in the late game, so that is why I would like her. And then lastly, there's Messiah. Messiah is a light unit. He has no weakness. He just deals a crap load of damage and gets invincibility with some of his skills. I used him during the beta, and the invincibility does come in clutch a lot of times. But don't be baited into pulling on his banner. He's not a unit you need. I would just love to have it. Now we're dropping down into the I'll take it category. Basically, these are units that I would love to get. They are not necessarily one of my top 5, but they all have a perfect place in the game. First up, we have Hellkid. Basically, he's one of the best spots in the game. He's a tank, bruiser, whatever you want to call him. He dishes out some good damage, but in general, his main purpose is to provide a massive shield to the team. Long and short of it is, you're not going to die if he's on your team. So particularly for those first 7 days before you get Lingluo, he is going to be a huge help. Then we have Kloss. I mean, 5 days ago, I would not have been saying this because she wasn't that strong, but since she got a buff, she now provides defense down and speed down across the whole enemy team. Yes, that is broken. If I'm honest, I feel like she's become better than Freya, which is really weird to say given that Freya is the first rate up banner. Don't get me wrong, that doesn't mean Freya is bad, I would just prefer Kloss. Next up we have Tsukiyomi. Now I used Tsukiyomi in the previous beta, and I thought she was cracked, particularly when combined with units like Messiah. She really carries him to one-shot the entire enemy team, and you don't have to build any speed on him because she advances his action straight forward. This might be a bit of a biased pick, and I think her main usage will be in PvP, but PvP is very integral to this game, so she'd be a great pickup. Next up we have Rilmoka and Rahu. These are both just 2 amazing green DPS characters. Rahu just got a buff as well, so he'll be dishing out some big numbers. And for me, they're just the ideal options for a DPS in Doki Doki. Especially if I don't manage to pick up Rosa, these 2 are going to be my preferred option. Next up we have 2 units that I want to talk about, Jada and Veronica. As single units, I'm not really that interested in them, but the reason I put them in here is because if I pull both of them, I really want to build them and put them on the same team just to see how that synergy works. Don't get me wrong, they're both strong individually. My curiosity has just been piqued here, and that's the main reason I want to pull them. There might be better teams, but in PvP especially, I think those 2 together will be really strong. And the last unit we have in this row is Chloris. If you haven't seen already, crazy numbers. He is a single target damage dealer, and whilst he is more of a late game character, he is going to be incredible in your guild boss fights in Aurora as well as Terramaton. Now we move into the pivot section. These are all the units that I haven't really planned for. It doesn't mean they're bad, but to be honest, I'd rather not. Doki Doki is a light and dark unit, and she is great. She really is. But she's much more of a late game unit, so in the early game, I'd just rather not pull her. Then we have Lilith. She's great for Doki Doki. I just don't really like her. That's it. Next up, we have Born, and again, Born's great. He can do good in PvP, Aurora, and Doki Doki. The issue is, he scales with HP, and given that he doesn't scale with crit, I feel like he's going to get power crept really quickly. So, I'm not that taken. After that, we have Mia, not Mio. Now, I do think Mia has some really good potential, especially in, again, Aurora and Doki Doki, but you just don't really need her, especially if you've got Hellkid and the fact that we're going to get Ling Luo for free. There's just better options. After this, we have Beyontin, and I might get a lot of hate for this, because yes, Beyontin is really, really good. I just don't think you need her. She gives crazy crit damage buffs, and I know she can revive, and I know she can action advance forward, but like, I just don't think you need her. If she fits into the plan, and we haven't got another unit that can fulfill that role, I will build her. Now we see Freya on the list, and like I said earlier, it's awkward because she is the first rate up banner. You would think she's going to be really strong, but she was already pretty, I mean, she was good, but she wasn't exactly breaking the game, and then they nerfed her even more, so yeah, I'm just not really convinced you need her anymore, so I probably would rather get someone else. And then finally, I feel really bad actually because this is a light and dark unit, and don't get me wrong, she does have her archetype, she can be really, really strong, but Shadow Sanya, I'm just not really that intrigued in the dot playstyle. Don't get me wrong, if my first temple gives me Obel, Fangus, and Shadow Sanya, I'll do it, okay? I'll do it. But otherwise, I'd rather not. After that, we start to get into some SR units that, don't get me wrong, they're good, but like, and I just don't really think they're necessary. We have Ditting, who puts out some massive damage, so again, if you don't manage to pull any DPS other than him, great option. We have the two different Chiakis. The first one you see here, she is an incredible support, do not get me wrong, she will give you a massive buff. But there are other options I would just rather have, such as Kloss or Tsukiyomi. The other Chiaki, she is a red element, and she puts out massive heals, she reduces damage taken, but that's kind of it. So again, in terms of supports, you get Ling Luo for free, I'd rather have something else. And then lastly, in the pivot category, we have Fangus. As I mentioned earlier, he is part of that Docker archetype with Shadow Sanya, so he can do big damage, Doc can be really good, it's just not my cup of tea. I mean, we all know what happened to it in Honkai Star Rail, rest in peace. And the last of the categories, potentially the spiciest of them really, because these are the ones that I'm just completely disregarding, it's not what I planned for. We have Silence. I don't really know what happened with Silence. I mean, if I'm honest, I don't even fully know what she does. But when you see a character not really getting used anywhere, you can kind of assume she's not that good. After that, we have Tiamat. I am the world's biggest Tiamat hater. I just don't like the way she plays. It really frustrates me. And the fact that her auto does not do her skills in the correct order. It should be skill 2, skill 3, skill 1. But you know, that's for another day. And then on top of that, she got nerfed, so she doesn't have as much sustain, or I should say survivability. But point being, I just don't like Tiamat. And I think after her nerfs, she really doesn't have a place until you get into the late game. So I'd rather not. After that, we have Sanya. Again, another really popular unit that was used very, very frequently before, particularly because her heals were passive. So when she was under the state of slumber or stun or anything like that, she could still heal. But she can no longer do that. Apparently that was a bug all along, so they've taken that away. Yeah, sucks to suck. And every unit after that is just another SR unit that, to be honest, just has better options. I could go into all of them, but that's going to make the video a lot longer, and I don't really want to do that to you. I will say in particular, Victor has some viability. He's a red type that does great damage, but he did get nerfed recently. Turandot here, she can provide some good support, but again, there's just better alternatives. She does also have a dispel effect, so she's got some use in Aurora. And lastly, Rin. She could do some really good damage. She actually scales off of speed, so she's a really interesting, unique DPS, but I tried to use her in the beta, and again, I feel like she's one of those units that isn't going to be dealing out the best damage until the late game. So I'd rather not waste my materials on her in the early game, because remember, you're going to be very limited on materials. Anyway, moving everyone back into their spots, you can see the full tier list. This is how I'll be focusing on things. I hope I explained it all well. It's not long now to the launch, so I'll see you guys in a few hours.